Miss Slagle?
Yes, I'm assuming a ranger.
Sure am.
Come on in. Take a seat.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Have you been getting my emails that I sent you?
I have.
I see you got one of them printed out in front of you. Which one is that? Is that the promotional material or the test results?
The test results.
Test results of the different competitors?
Yes.
Yeah. Has anything stuck out to you about that?
A little bit, but I'm not too familiar with paint.
Okay. Well, I'm here today mainly because our mutual friend Ricardo Jackson, he's a regular user of our Valspar Reserve paint. He's actually an employee of the Liberty School District. I don't know if you knew that or not. But he said that in his classroom he's had an issue of paint peeling off the walls, and he referred me to come talk to you about getting the Valspar Reserve because he's had such great success with that.
Yeah, it's actually a problem in quite a bit of our schools, getting it to stick to all the bricks and stuff. So.
Just curious, how many schools are there in the Liberty?
16.
16 schools?
16 schools, yeah.
That's a lot of schools.
Yeah.
Are you in charge of them, or
all of them? Yeah.
All of them.
Yep.
So you got to buy all materials for all the schools.
Yeah.
Sounds fun. Is the cost of repainting a problem?
Oh yeah, we are constantly repainting. It feels like almost every year we have to go in and paint another classroom because the paint's peeling off or something's been damaged.
That really sucks.
Yeah.
Just curious, what happens if the funds run low for paint supplies?
We find some paint that we maybe had left over from another project, and we just kind of put it together with what we have if we don't have the money that year.
Alright, well, if I could show you a paint that is long-lasting, washable, scruff-resistant, would you guys be interested?
Yeah, but we don't really care about the color, if it stays long or not, if it fades over time. We really just want something that's going to stay on the walls for a long time, so we don't have to come back and repaint every year.
Okay, well, I haven't really gotten into the benefits quite yet, but that's good to know. The Valspar Reserve, as you see here with our test results, has got a variety of benefits. The main thing that a lot of customers in retail stores like is the hydrochroma watercolor, which basically means it's zero VOC, there's no odor to it, which helps the color stay truer a lot longer. So I understand you guys aren't too worried about the color lasting for a while, but it's one of the perks of it. And some additional perks is that it's also a paint and primer in one, so it'll stick to that brick and masonry very well. I actually have a excuse me, sorry, my throat's a little sore. I got a little display here. It's two bricks held together by the Valspar Reserve paint. You can lift it up yourself if you'd like. It just shows the adherability of the paint.
So there's like glue in between each brick?
No, it's the paint.
Just the paint.
2 coats of paint. Yep. I'll set that over here. So yeah, along with the paint and primer, which helps it stick to this, it also has a strong adhering formula, which is quite nice. Just another curiosity, how long is school in session for?
About 9 months.
About 9 months. So you have, what, like 20,000 kids with all the schools put together, rubbing their fingers against the walls and all that. Do your employees complain about paint peeling off the walls during the school year?
Yeah, when they hang posters in their classroom and that sort of stuff, and then they take it down at the end of the year, and then they contact us and say, well, we need it repainted because all of our paint peeled off, so.
But that's a hassle.
Yeah.
What if your boss came in and saw the paint peeling or flaking off the walls? What do you think he would do?
I'm not really sure.
You're not sure? You don't know if he would be...
I mean, I'm sure he would be very upset, but he would, we just kind of paint over things, so it never really gets back to being perfect.
Okay. Well, before I dig too deep into the next benefit, would it be beneficial to you guys to have a product that would not peel off and stay on the walls for an estimated 8 years?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I bet, especially with all those kids in there.
Yeah.
Well, what's nice about the Valspar Reserve is that not only is it durable, it is scrubbable and washable. So that means no matter what smudge marks or if say in the cafeteria and some kid decides to have a food fight, like you see in the movies, you can just easily scrub the food off those walls. Um, let's see, just next question for you that I had. How many handymen are employed in the school district?
Total there's about 50.
About 50?
Yeah.
Do your handymen have to come in after school is closed or on long weekends to do painting, like say like school's out for 4 days because of like Memorial Day? Like, do they have to come in on those days and paint?
Typically not, because students will be back in the schools very, very soon after that, but they usually paint over the summer, because we have 2 to 3 months off, so they usually do all their painting and touch-up work over the summer.
Okay. Well, one nice thing about the Valspar Reserve, which I actually brought in the sample for you, is that it is low odor. They're actually not low odor, it's 0 VOC, so that means there's no odor at all. So if you do have to touch up for some reason during the school year, you can definitely do that. And it looks like the heat sealed down the lid. Well, I will have to deal with that later. But yeah, here's a sample size of the paint. I would love to show you that it has no odor, but I can't seem to get the lid off. Sorry about that. Along with the handyman, what if they're out of town or can't come in to repaint? Like say like how you said they do it over the summer. Let's just say that stretch over the summer, you can't get them to come in. What happens then?
Sometimes it just doesn't get done until, last minute, until we get somebody who can get in there and get it done.
Well, what if my company's products could assure you that you wouldn't have to worry about repainting in some time? Would you guys be interested in that?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other questions you by chance have for me?
Well, I'm just kind of curious. You seem kind of young. How do you know so much about the Valspar Reserve?
Yeah, I know I seem young and I get that a lot of time, but actually I'm very knowledgeable and I'm trained very well, because we go through intensive training about our Valspar products, and I'm also have to shadow a rep for about 2 weeks before they let me out on my own. So I learn a lot going to all the different retail stores. Our main store that we sell through is Lowe's, which I noticed that you guys have one pretty close to your high schools. So if you guys do decide to join, you can place an order through Valspar. We'll send it to the local Liberty Lowe's, and then you guys can just go in there and pick up your orders. Would you like to place an order today?
It's a little bit on the expensive side, and we need a lot of paint if we're going to repaint everything. So could you maybe explain how much it's going to cost total for me to paint, all of our buildings that we have?
Yeah, so is the price that's keeping you from buying the Valspar Reserve, is that correct? Okay, let me remind you that the Valspar Reserve has the built-in primer formula. Granted, it's still not a true base primer. Like if you're going over like the brand new drywall, that just soaks up paint, so you're gonna probably need a separate primer coat for that. But otherwise, if you're going already pre-painted surfaces, it's marketed to cover in one coat. So that helps reduce the amount of paint that you need, or that helps reduce the price because you're not having to buy 2 gallons to do 2 coats of paint for one wall. You just buy 1 gallon, do 1 coat. Which that also helps with the coverage. Price-wise, are you doing all the schools this summer, or?
We'll probably just stick to probably 1 would be a
just
good
one
amount.
school?
Yeah, to try for now.
Do you roughly know the square footage? Because if you do, I can get a better idea of pricing.
I am not sure.
You're not sure?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what school it is?
Alexander Donovan.
So isn't that elementary school?
Mm-hmm.
It is? Okay. I think that's roughly, I want to say about 7,000 square feet. So if that's the case, if you're doing all the brick and masonry, you'd need about 40, this is on the high side, just in case if for some reason like the color you pick doesn't cover it that well, which all colors should unless it's a transparent, which I'll get in that later in the later meeting if you do go through with this. You're going to need about 40 gallons of paint. So with that, you'll be looking at around $3,000.
Okay.
Would that be all right with you guys?
Is there any way if we're ordering so much that maybe we could get a discount?
One thing that Valspar can do with ordering 40 gallons of paint, and I know this is just for one school, but what we can do, we can throw in some samples. So like if you have, like I said here, the sample here, if you have some colors already in mind that you'd like to try, you can get a sample of our Valspar Reserve, put it on the walls, so that way you can see the color before you actually buy it all and paint it on. Like I said, once you get the order, or once you get an idea of how much you're going to need and all that, you can just call us, we'll place the order, send it to Lowe's, and then they'll get it ready for you and call you when it's ready to go. And also, we can throw in some Purdy brushes. I don't know if you know this or not, but Sherwin-Williams just bought out Valspar, and Sherwin-Williams is part owner of Purdy. Purdy is one of the best brushes out there, so we can throw you some of those in there for a discounted rate as well.
That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, there's one thing that I forgot to tell you, and it just came to my mind. Do you guys ever paint the exterior of the school?
Not typically.
Not typically? Well, if you do, the Valspar Reserve is highly flexible. And so if you see this Nerf football here, it's half painted in it, and if you squeeze it, it just shows the flexibility that's going to crack. It's going to expand and contract with that surface. So it's just another idea if you guys do decide to paint some exterior. But you said 40 gallons to start off with a couple of brushes. Okay. I just have you sign down here to show that we talked about it. And for signing today, here's a Valspar hat courtesy of Valspar to help you with painting. And according to Ricardo, green's your favorite color.
Yes.
So, got you your own personal Valspar painting green t-shirt.
Thank you.
And then I got you 2 others for whoever you'd like to give them to.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions for me today?
I do not.
Alright, well it was a pleasure to meet you, Jamie. And I hope to be in contact with you soon.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
You too.